A brief overview of the book, Onyx Storm, by Yarros. Castle General Introduction. Yarros, known for her emotionally rich storytelling, returns with Onyx Storm, the third book in her wildly popular Empyrean series. Following the success of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, this installment continues to explore a world of dragons, dark magic, and war, all while deepening the central love story between Violet and Xaden, blending fantasy adventure with romantic intensity. The book fits squarely into the new adult romantic fantasy genre, ideal for readers who crave both magical world-building and emotionally charged relationships. Release date: January 21, 2025, highly anticipated by fans worldwide. Part 1, Legacy and Broken Alliances, Continuity and Immediate Aftermath. Onyx Storm begins exactly where Iron Flame ended, with high emotional stakes and the world on the brink of collapse. Violet Sorrengail has made an unthinkable choice. She saves Xaden Ryerson by allowing him to transform into a Venom, a being who draws power directly from the ley lines, a form of forbidden shadow magic long condemned by Navarre and its allies. This single act challenges everything Violet has been taught, sets her up for conflict on both personal and political fronts, symbolizes the gray morality of this series, highlighting how the lines between hero and villain are often blurred. Alliance under strain. Navarre, Pormiel, Tyrrendor, the three major nations, Navarre, Pormiel, and Tyrrendor, begin to forge a fragile alliance to confront the growing Venom threat. Key challenges: mistrust. Each territory has suffered differently, making unity difficult. Differing motives. Some leaders seek survival, others power or revenge. Cultural divide. How they view Venom, ward magic, and dragons is not aligned. Violet now becomes a central figure, not just as a soldier but as a symbol of unification, especially since she bridges both the traditional and forbidden sides of magic through her relationship with Xaden. Xaden's dangerous position. Now a Venom, Xaden becomes both a liability and an asset. Kept under watch at Bastiath War College, he's surrounded by suspicion, fear, and resentment. His transformation forces characters and readers to question who the real monsters are, the ones who break rules to protect lives, or those who follow orders blindly. He is also a wild card. Is he stable? Will he fall deeper into the shadows? Can love anchor him? His presence tests everyone's moral boundaries, especially Violet's. Surprise attack. The spark of chaos. Just as tensions begin to stabilize, a surprise attack from outside forces shatters the illusion of progress. This event exposes the fragility of the alliance, forces the characters into action before they are ready, suggests that the Venom are not the only threat, introducing new layers of conflict, both magical and political. It also reminds readers that in the world of the Empyrean, peace is always temporary, and power struggles are constant. In summary, Part 1 of Onyx Storm plunges readers into a world on edge. Love has become a source of danger. War is no longer just physical, it's moral and magical. Alliances form as quickly as they fracture. Violet stands in the center, the heart of a storm that's only just begun to build. Part 2, A Journey Beyond the Wards, Mission of Hope in a World at War. After the political unrest and magical chaos of Part 1, Part 2 shifts gears and places Violet Sorrengail on a bold and high-stakes mission. to find the elusive 7th dragon species, the Irids. Why? Because, the ward stones that once protected Navarre from dark magic are failing. The Irids, believed to hold ancient restorative powers, might be the key to repairing them. This mission marks a turning point in the story where the focus expands from survival to salvation, not just for Violet or Xaden, but for the entire realm. The journey, harsh landscapes, emotional loss. Violet, along with a small group of trusted allies, sets out on a dangerous voyage beyond unknown territories, across unmapped islands, magical rifts, and war-torn skies. Challenges they face, unfamiliar terrain, wild, magically unstable lands that test both their survival skills and magical limits, magical disturbances, forces that distort time, space, and even memory. Emotional strain. As the mission becomes more perilous, tensions rise within the team. Key loss: Trajan's death. Trajan, a loyal and wise ally, dies during one of the trials. His death delivers a major emotional blow to the group, especially to Violet, who begins to question the cost of this war more deeply. His loss also reinforces the story's theme that heroism often demands unbearable sacrifice. The Irids, ancient, wise, and unwilling. Eventually, Violet and her companions locate the Irids, a mythical 7th species of dragons that are extremely rare, gifted with restorative and time-manipulating powers, deeply tied to the natural balance of magic. Spotlight, and Darna, once bonded with Violet as a young dragon, now returns in her true Irid form. She has matured, both physically and mentally, and now speaks with the wisdom of her kind. Her presence is symbolic, representing the bridge between Violet's past vulnerability and her current strength. The refusal. The Irids refuse to join the war. They fear that interfering in human affairs will throw the magical balance even further out of alignment. This decision leaves Violet and the others feeling helpless and frustrated. They came seeking salvation, but instead found a wall of neutrality. In summary, in Part 2, A Journey Beyond the Wards, Violet faces not just physical challenges, but existential ones. Can all power be used for good? What happens when the help you seek refuses to be given? And how much loss can a leader endure before breaking? This part is equal parts epic adventure and emotional reckoning, solidifying Violet's role as a warrior of both heart and mind, and reminding readers that in this world, no journey is ever simple, and no victory comes without a price. Part 3, Secrets, Magic Betrayal, Unraveling the Darkness, Xaden's Venom Transformation. In this part of the story, Violet dives deeper into the truth about Xaden's transformation into a Venom, a being who draws power from the ley lines, traditionally seen as corrupted and unnatural. What she learns: Xaden's choice was intentional but desperate. He became a Venom to save Violet's life. Sacrificing his purity and his standing among dragonkind, his transformation is not purely evil, as previously believed. It is painful, dangerous, and taints his bond with his dragon, but it doesn't make him lose his soul, unless he gives in completely. Violet begins to see that power, in and of itself, is not evil, but how it is used defines its nature. This revelation forces Violet to re-examine everything she was taught at Bastiath. Is the world truly as black and white as her training claimed? Or has truth been hidden by those in power? The second signet, Dreamwalking. As Violet continues to grow stronger, she begins to manifest a second magical ability, Signet, a rare phenomenon that reflects both her resilience and her unique bond with multiple dragons. Her second signet, dreamwalking, the ability to enter other people's dreams, observe, communicate, or even influence. This is symbolic of her growing emotional and magical insight. Violet is no longer just reacting to the world, she's reaching into its deepest layers. It becomes a tool for both connection and espionage, raising ethical questions about how far one should go to win a war. This new signet mirrors her internal struggle. The deeper she reaches into others' minds, the more she must understand and control her own. Artia, the rescue of Mira. Violet's emotional arc reaches a critical moment when she journeys to Artia, where her sister Mira is held captive or under threat. Mira has long represented family loyalty, the legacy of their parents, a life Violet might have lived had she not been forced to become a rider. The rescue, Violet risks everything to save Mira, even breaking rules, defying orders, and putting herself in the path of enemy forces. The mission is dangerous, messy, and deeply personal. It also reminds Violet, and the reader, that love and duty often collide. In saving Mira, Violet begins to fully embrace her role not just as a fighter, but as a leader willing to make impossible choices. In summary, in Part 3, Secrets, Magic Betrayal, Violet's journey becomes less about survival and more about understanding the truth behind the war, her powers, and the man she loves. She steps beyond the boundaries of tradition, magically, morally, and emotionally. This section challenges her beliefs, expands her powers, deepens her connection to both her past and her future. It is a powerful turning point, preparing Violet, and the reader, for the emotional and magical storm that lies ahead. Part 4, Bloodshed and the Onyx Storm. The Onyx Storm, when power meets desperation. At the heart of this part lies the long-awaited manifestation of the book's title, The Onyx Storm. This is not just a magical phenomenon, but a symbolic and emotional climax where everything spirals into chaos. What happens? Xaden, pushed to the brink, fully embraces his venom powers, something he had resisted throughout the book. In doing so, he summons the Onyx Storm, a catastrophic and all-consuming force of shadow and energy. The storm is not just raw destruction, it is intelligent magic, shaped by emotion, loss, and love. It reflects Xaden's internal torment, his willingness to sacrifice his soul to protect Violet and the others, the dark beauty and terrible price of forbidden power. Impact, it levels entire battlefields, overwhelms even trained riders and dragons, forces allies and enemies alike to reconsider their understanding of power, morality, and control. Violet's final confrontation, Theophany. During the chaos of the Onyx Storm, Violet faces one of her most deadly enemies yet, Theophany, a master assassin aligned with the Venom. Why this matters? Theophany represents the worst aspects of Venom corruption, power unmoored by empathy or conscience. She is a mirror to Xaden, showing what he could become if he surrenders completely. For Violet, defeating her means confronting her fear of losing Xaden to darkness, as well as proving her own strength without relying on others to save her. The battle, the fight is intensely physical and magical, filled with explosions of elemental magic, telepathic tension between dragon riders, the use of Violet's dreamwalking abilities and signets in clever, strategic ways, and Darna, Violet's rare Irid dragon, plays a crucial role, offering time-bending and shielding magic, representing the balance of old wisdom and new courage. Their bond reminds readers that connection, not just raw power, is what saves lives. Outcome, Violet defeats Theophany, but it's not a moment of triumph. It's bittersweet, because Xaden is slipping further into the dark side. The cost of victory has once again been blood, pain, and emotional devastation. In summary, in Part 4, Bloodshed and the Onyx Storm, the story reaches one of its most intense emotional and magical peaks. It is a sequence where love becomes dangerous, power becomes unbearable, victory tastes like grief. Xaden's storm may have saved lives, but it also leaves a mark on everyone involved, especially Violet, who now sees what it truly means to love someone walking toward the edge of darkness. Part 5, a cliffhanger ending, lost time, lost truth. After the climactic battle and emotional intensity of the Onyx Storm, the story takes a sharp and mysterious turn. Violet wakes up to find she has lost 12 hours of memory. She is suddenly married to Xaden. Xaden has vanished without explanation, leaving behind only a wedding ring and a cryptic note, "Don't come looking for me." This moment plunges Violet, and the reader, into a new kind of emotional chaos, not war or magic, but confusion, heartbreak, and betrayal. Marriage is a symbol of missing pieces. The shock of marriage. Violet doesn't remember agreeing to marry Xaden, yet the bond is real. This is deeply unsettling for someone like Violet, who craves understanding and choice. The marriage, normally a symbol of unity, becomes a puzzle piece that doesn't fit, a mark of intimacy without consent, memory, or context, emotional tension. The question becomes not just where is Xaden, but what happened between us in those 12 hours that was so powerful, and why was it erased? Violet's sense of agency is shaken. She doesn't just lose time, she loses part of her identity. The note, "Don't come looking for me." This line encapsulates everything Onyx Storm builds toward: love tied to danger. Xaden believes his presence puts Violet at risk, tragic self-sacrifice. His leaving is not an act of rejection, it's an act of love warped by fear and guilt, unresolved threads. The note is vague, final, and painfully empty of answers. For readers, this isn't just a goodbye. It's a hook. It keeps us wondering, did Xaden fall deeper into the venom darkness? Did he go to protect her, or himself? Will he ever return? The memory wipe, Imogen's role and Violet's consent. Perhaps the most shocking twist, Violet learns that her missing memory was erased by her friend, Imogen, at Violet's own request. Why this matters? It raises massive moral and emotional questions. Why would Violet ask to forget? What did she see or experience that she believed was better erased? It adds a new layer to the story's exploration of power, privacy, and autonomy. Imogen's role, once a trusted ally, she now appears as someone who followed a dangerous request, violated the very intimacy of memory. This creates tension and mistrust, both for Violet and the reader. Themes: literary highlights, war, sacrifice, and power. The story explores what people are willing to give up for victory, and whether the price is ever too high. Storms as symbolism. The Onyx Storm represents not just a magical tempest, but the internal chaos in Violet and Xaden's hearts. Love versus darkness. Their relationship dances on the line between light and shadow, trust and secrecy. World building. Rich exploration of new lands, dragon species, and magical systems expands the depth of the Empyrean universe. Character evolution. Violet grows from an anxious, wounded girl into a fierce, strategic leader. Xaden confronts the darkness within and the cost of protecting the ones he loves. An epic romantasy masterpiece, Onyx Storm isn't just another fantasy novel, it's a culmination of high-stakes storytelling, deep emotional resonance, and genre-defining ambition. Rebecca Yarros blends the best elements of romantic fantasy, with mature themes of loss, power, love, and inner transformation. Let's break down what makes this book truly unforgettable. Intense magical combat, the novel delivers some of the most cinematic and emotionally loaded battle scenes in the Empyrean series. The Onyx Storm itself becomes a central spectacle, both magical and psychological. Battles aren't just physical, they reflect internal turmoil, emotional stakes, and ideological clashes. Magic systems, signets, dragons, venom powers, irid magic, are used strategically, not just for flash, making every confrontation feel earned and essential to the plot. Combat in Onyx Storm isn't about spectacle alone, it's about what power does to the people who use it, and the cost of wielding it to protect others. Emotionally charged romance. At its core, this book is about Violet and Xaden, two characters who have loved fiercely, lost tragically, and now must decide whether love is still enough when everything around them has changed. Highlights include a marriage that happens in a moment of intimacy Violet doesn't remember, a love that is tested by darkness, distance, and death, the idea that true love requires not just passion, but trust, forgiveness, and brutal honesty. Their romance isn't perfect. It's raw, complicated, and laced with danger, making it deeply human and emotionally compelling. Heartbreaking losses and fragile alliances. Throughout the novel, no victory comes without cost. Characters die unexpectedly, like Trajan, reminding readers of the war's stakes. Political alliances constantly teeter on the edge of collapse. Trust is tested, between nations, between friends, and even within oneself. Yarros shows that heroism doesn't come from perfection, but from persistence in the face of loss. Alliances break, and yet characters keep choosing to believe, rebuild, and fight on. Deep, personal transformation for every major character. Each character undergoes a radical emotional or moral evolution. Violet, from hesitant and traumatized to powerful and discerning. Her growth isn't linear, she makes mistakes, questions her choices, and grows from the consequences. Xaden becomes the embodiment of conflicted power. His venom transformation makes him stronger but also pushes him closer to the edge, emotionally, morally, and spiritually. Imogen, Mira, and Darna. Secondary characters also shine, with storylines that test their loyalty, identity, and courage. No one leaves this story unchanged. Onyx Storm is about how war, love, and loss force people to redefine themselves. More than just dragons. While dragons are a key visual and emotional part of the book, they are not the point, they're the metaphor. Dragons represent freedom, power under constraint, the burden of legacy and destiny. The real story is about what we are willing to fight for, what we lose in the process, and how we keep loving, even when the world around us burns. As Yarros proves, it's not just about wings and fire. It's about resilience, sacrifice, and daring to believe in something greater than fear. In summary, Onyx Storm is a bold, emotional, and unforgettable entry in the Empyrean series. It combines spectacular magical battles, complex and devastating romance, powerful character growth, philosophical questions about power, memory, and sacrifice. It's not just a book about dragons, it's a novel about what it means to fight, to lose, and to love anyway. This final summary reminds readers why Rebecca Yarros is at the top of the romantasy genre. and why Onyx Storm is not just a chapter in a saga, but a searing transformation point for an entire world.